This podcast is brought to you by Penji. Penji is a creative subscription service that gives you access to pre-vetted, agency-trained creatives from all over the world. From graphic design to illustrations to social media management and web development, it's all included for one monthly price. It's time to say goodbye to the hassle of searching for top-notch creative talent. With Penji, you get quality and consistency delivered right to your inbox every day. Carefully crafted for you by humans, so meet your new creative team today. Head over to penji.co for more and enter the coupon code located within the podcast show notes.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fully Managed Podcast. Thank you, Joshua, so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it.
No problem at all. Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah, no problem. So today we are going to start strong by giving you a game to play. This game is going to test your marketing skills. So it's going to be hopefully really fun and also make you laugh because I love giving people absurd scenarios in which they have to solve. So this is a game called Market Me This. I am going to give you an absurd product, and you are going to develop a little plan for me. And this can go into anything that you like to dive into for marketing specifically. Obviously, it's vast, and there are many steps to it, so I don't expect you to fully plan out a detailed campaign for me right on the spot, but just go into whatever you think would be fun to refer to, if that makes sense. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right, are you ready for the product?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right, so this product is a smart fork. So this fork will basically, kind of similar to like a diet tracker, it'll like judge your eating habits based off of what you're eating and track it through an application.
Okay. All right. So how I would market this smart fork is by letting people know straight away through organic, through paid, that all their cutlery in their kitchen right now is not doing the job it's supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. And they're going to think, oh, what do you mean? I've got a fork, I've got a spoon, I just use it to pick up the food and put it in my mouth. It's doing the job. But by telling them that, hey, the job that you thought that your fork was doing is not doing the whole job, that will pique their curiosity. And then I will basically say, hey, here is this smart fork that actually tracks your calories. Every bite every bite of food that you have, it tracks every single calorie, the nutrients, the ingredients, the entire thing. So it makes your eating, the ritual of eating, a lot more informative. And that alone is going to help people realize that, sometimes when it comes to losing weight or even gaining weight, for people who want to build muscle or people who want to get a little bit leaner, a lot of people who are new to eating, they think, why is it that my body's not changing? And usually it's usually in the snacks and the things that we eat that we're not always tracking. Mm-hmm. So the first thing when it comes to actually getting the results that you want is all about tracking. But it's about using something that is mundane, that they use every day, that basically says, hey, this is how much you're eating, this is how many calories that you're eating. And then I'll even go as far as even putting a little alarm on the fork when they go over their calorie.
Whoa, that's true. Oh my God, I hear an alarm clock in a commercial and I'm like, oh my God, I'm back in high school. I don't want to think about this ever again. That's smart. It is, you sometimes you need an adverse reaction to something to actually do something differently.
So that's how I'll do it. And then I will basically push it through Facebook ads. I'll push it through Google ads. I'll push it through organic on TikTok, because it's got that wow factor. The great thing about that product, it's got that wow factor. It solves a problem, But when you can solve a problem with something that's got a wow on the end,
Mm-hmm.
that is a recipe for success. So that's pretty much how we'll do it.
I love that. I think that was an amazing plan. And I don't think this is something that it was invented yet. So if you want to patent it, go right ahead. That was absolutely wonderful. I think that was a great strategy for the smart fork. So thank you so much for playing my game. I think you already showcased some of your marketing skills. So now people will get a better idea of you. But now I want them to get an even better idea of a better idea of you. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself. Tell us how you got to this point so far, what you're doing today, and like what I guess what you enjoy about your job, and also give me a fun fact.
Yes. So, one of the things. So my name is Joshua Okungbaiye, and I am a digital marketer. So I focus on Meta ads, Instagram ads, TikTok ads, Google ads. So that's pretty much what I do at the moment. Currently, I'm freelance at the moment. So I've worked with a whole host of different brands, from your e-commerce, D2C, direct to consumer brands, to your businesses that are business to business brands, and I've pretty much got a whole wide range of experience in those fields, and I've been able to see loads of different challenges along the way, which has definitely helped me in terms of really making sure that the expertise and the advice that I put forward actually gets businesses results.
Mhm.
So that's pretty much what I do. So I've been very very lucky to work with amazing brands such as Financial Times and Nike, Monday.com. I've worked with so many brands, and I've been very privileged to learn along the way. So that's pretty much me, and yeah, I love marketing. I could be out and about, and I'll see if I see an ad in my head, I already know what that brand's trying to do. It's literally my passion. I actually enjoy marketing, because for me, I see marketing as the artistic side of business,
Mhm.
and that's something that I want to continue doing for brands moving forward.
No, I love that. I think that that is something that is really true about, like, a lot of people say that because marketing is, like, I guess technical, and sometimes I guess all the time stats related, that people assume that it's not like a creative position, but I don't think that's necessarily true. I think that it like forces your brain to think creatively all the time, because anytime I see something, I'm like, what's the purpose of that? Like, why? And sometimes I see a campaign and I'm like, I don't know what the purpose of that is, and I'm thinking that maybe that's bad, but but it's kind of a fun way of looking at things. I don't
Yeah.
know, like through a marketing lens, because I mean, like, people are always trying to sell to you, in one way or another. So, um,
Yeah. For sure, because the thing about marketing, it essentially it sets up the environment for people to want to be sold to. So, for example, if you see a really cool ad and it resonates with you, it connects with you, or it makes you laugh or makes you feel good, then when you see another ad from that same brand now saying, "Hey, we offer this; it's only 20% off," that good feeling that you've already gotten from that brand the first time is going to carry on to how you engage with that brand when it comes to actually taking the action, whether it's giving a lead or actually buying. So a lot of businesses forget that when it comes to when we buy stuff, a lot of it comes down to it's an emotional decision when we buy stuff, but we tend to use our logic later to justify
mhm.
buying that particular thing, and and that's why I always refer to marketing as the artistic side of business, because through art, through creativity, it's a very human thing. That's how you really make that connection, and it actually makes brands living, breathing entities rather than just these blocks or firms that are just there to just take people's money.
Mhm.
It's that part that humanizes the brand and connects. So it's definitely something that if brands were to remember that important component, they'll do really well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think no one wants to feel like they're being sold to, even though they constantly are, because that's like the landscape. But I think that because it's so oversaturated, people are so aggravated, like they're really looking out for being sold to. So like the best marketers are the ones that kind of disguise it, for lack of better phrasing. Like they make you want to interact with something.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So it's just it's making people to think, oh wow, like okay, this product, this brand actually wants to help me, rather than
Mm-hmm.
hey, buy this now. You've only got 10 minutes to buy it. You've only got a day to buy. No, it's hey, we're almost running out of this stock. You may need it for this particular issue or this particular problem. But if you want us to keep you updated, we'll send you another email, because we understand that your life can get very busy. So it's really, really understanding the person at a human level.
Sorry, there's something in my eye. But I completely agree. Like you really truly have to understand your audience, and you have to make sure that they actually feel catered to. That's
Yes.
something that is, I think, a lot of companies find very difficult, because they're very maybe set in their ways of like, this is what I believe the purpose of this is the problem that I'm solving, and don't realize that sometimes the people that are buying their product don't believe the same things that they're like looking at their own brand at. And like you kind of have to, take yourself out of that headspace and consider your audience more.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. It's always audience first, rather than how many can I sell?
Mhm.
Because once you are audience first, the sales will come. The sales are a bonus.
Mhm.
And the thing about it is that a lot of brands always just focus on the sell, but then marketing is also in the customer service as well, because yes, if once they've bought from you, then and say if they have a bad experience or experience that isn't, the customer isn't coming at you on the defensive saying, oh my gosh, what's going on? That good feeling that they've had with the brand is going to make the customer to think, oh, I'm not sure, I just wanted just to check on this, is it possible if this can be fixed? And that makes things a lot easier in terms of the relationship between the brand and the customer.
Yeah, 100%. And kind of talking about more of your experience. Okay, so you've spent like 14 plus years in paid media, not to age you or anything. That's really cool. Let's talk about that. So like from the early days of Facebook ads to now scaling clients on TikTok, which is like wildly different. What's one platform change or like algorithm shift that like really surprised you throughout your experience? Like how did you adapt to that?
Oh, that's a great question, Shannon. Okay, so Facebook, Meta, I feel like Facebook is always changing. It's changed its name, right?
Yeah, you can do that.
And I've seen it from the beginning. I remember when Facebook ads just came out, and I thought, what is this? And back then it was called the Power Editor. It was called the Power Editor. So people listening to this or watching this who have been on Facebook ads from the very beginning will know this. It was called the Power Editor back then, and it was so simple, so easy to run ads. Very much like TikTok ads now. Running TikTok ads now is very simple. It's very the same type of structure as you would get on Meta. And then over time, Meta started to change. They started to add new features and stuff like that. But through those changes throughout the years weren't too bad. But the one that really, really, I believe, shook up the entire digital marketing industry, especially those that do Meta ads, was iOS 14, 15. When that happened, that basically brought into question attribution. It brought into question how our results are being tracked. Brought into question, okay, when a sale comes through and does it reflect accurately on the ads manager? It was, whereas before if you got a sale, it would reflect on the ads manager pretty much accurately.
Mm-hmm.
But now it was a bit more modeled. So now you have the rise of external tracking tools, and you also have marketers creating things like, for example, it's called a marketing efficiency ratio.
Mm-hmm.
So it's basically a term where you want to work out, okay, with the amount of money that you're spending on marketing, how much money are you actually getting back? So it's kind of an overall thing.
Mm-hmm.
Before that time, people was not doing that, and that
Which is
really
crazy.
changed.
Honestly, like, kind of makes sense. Like,
Really, honestly, it's actually, and I get it in terms of Apple's side, because obviously privacy is a currency now. People want privacy of data as a currency. People want their data protected. People want to get more control of how their data is being used. So
Mhm.
I definitely understand that, but it just happened so suddenly, and that time was a real testing time for a lot of digital marketers, and it really separated those who are actually good at digital marketing as opposed to people who weren't that good and were just riding off the wave of how
Yeah.
easy it was. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's kind of a similar trend that's happening with AI now, because like a lot of people use these different tactics to like quote unquote like trick social media or social search engines is what I meant. Like there were so many different tactics that people could use specifically for Google to like show up and be a top on that search engine. And now with AI and like Reddit search and all these different things that are like now incorporated with it, it's really changed a lot. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that's like almost a similar flip of like now people are really, really now you can really see who's actually doing like the work and making like quality blog posts or like, information, putting quality information out there rather than just like putting a bunch of information out there in order to show up on search.
Yeah, 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 and I definitely agree with you, Shannon, because whenever changes happen, there's like, for example, with the AI is huge right now. Everyone's talking about it, but there's only going to be a few AI tools that are actually going to be needed way, way, way into the future. So I always find that whenever there's a new piece of technology or innovation, anyone and everyone could do it, but then when things change, that's when you now see who's really good, who's really needed,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's that. So it tends to actually make things better over time,
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah, 100%. And even with like talking about that specifically, like with paid ad platforms constantly changing, like how do you future proof strategies? Like how do you predict like possible trends that are going to change like in the next 3 to 5 years from now? AI is probably going to be like even crazier than it is now. Like what how do you expect stuff like that?
Yeah. So I have a secret. I have a secret strategy to this,
Oh, you're
and
gonna tell us?
I'll tell you guys.
Whoa! Thank you, secret exclusive.
I'll tell you guys, and it's really just understanding people and understanding where they are at. For example, when I first started playing around with Facebook ads way, way back in the day, when it was called the Power Editor, that was when Facebook was huge. It was the growth. A lot of people were joining. This is
Yeah.
during the time where people in universities were joining. It was growing so quickly, and then I knew that, so I saw the little ads on the side, and I thought, oh, these guys are running ads. Let me find out how to do that myself. How do I do that? And same thing with TikTok. I found that, people are on TikToks. They're sharing TikToks rather than sharing, I don't know, websites. They're sharing TikToks. That's where the people are. Okay, we're jumping onto TikTok, and then they've got an ad platform. So I always find that wherever people are going, and because as human beings, we have an innate desire to connect with each other.
Mhm.
And wherever people are congregated, connecting, having conversations, whether or not they're arguing or not,
Yeah.
there's a likelihood that they probably are in the works of creating an ad platform. And then you want to jump onto that, learn it, and then you're pretty much a first mover advantage in terms of learning how to. And then once, before you know it, people start joining. And for example, TikTok, I was one of the first few people to actually start talking about TikTok ads, especially on my TikTok channel. And now, and this was years ago, and now people are jumping onto it. So that's how I tend to do it. And with AI, there's probably going to be another platform that's going to be AI backed, or and then if people are using it, I'll be there. I'll learn the ad platform, and then we can continue pushing ads to people.
That's really smart. That's really smart secret sauce. Well, one, because like I agree with you that like if it's a social channel and it's gaining popularity, it's bound to have ads at some point. Like that's just like
Yes.
the natural progression of things at this point, unless it's like a social platform that is adamant about not having ads, which is there really any of those at this point?
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, no, because like Reddit, same thing. Like that was a social platform for a while. I believe it for quite a while it had ads, but it never really had anything to do with like search engine optimization. Like it never really fed into anything like that. But now with AI incorporation, like that is it heavily guiding like those results. And like people who were never on Reddit or like never considered it as an option to show up in that landscape, like they missed that opportunity, because if they were like there earlier, like at least exploring how to use it, then they would know now that when it's actually being incorporated into those areas that they can take advantage of that, because they already kind of know how to use it. Even if they weren't like actually using it beforehand, at least they knew how to.
Exactly. And it's and that's really all it is, because the platform is the tool. And just like before, back in the day, how did people know about a particular shop,
Mhm.
right? So we can take it. I'm in London, so like we could take it all the way back to old times.
Mhm.
On a bakery store, what would happen on the side? It would have a picture of the bakery, and it's probably someone baking, and it'd be a really nice artistic painting. Bless you.
Thank
Um,
you.
it'll be a nice artistic painting, so people that are walking by could see that, oh, that's a bakery. Okay, cool. Let me go inside. Right now, it's online. It's our phones. It's the internet.
Mhm.
But one thing across the board that's always stayed the same is marketing principles still work. We as human
Mm.
beings, we haven't really evolved that much. We haven't really changed that much. We still react to things that make us happy. We react to things that make us sad. We A lot of our buying decisions are still emotional. We haven't really changed that much. So marketing principles haven't changed that much
Mhm.
either. The moment that humans actually start to change and evolve to now doing some next level type of the marketing is still always gonna work. That's why I always laugh when people say, "Oh, marketing doesn't marketing doesn't work on me." The only way marketing would not work on you is if you are literally not a human.
Yeah, or you're literally just not buying things, which like is unlikely because you need to. Like, it's working in some way, even if it's like brand loyalty. That's still at some point marketing worked on someone else, and now it works on you. It's like generational trauma with marketing. It's like if your mom was buying Clorox wipes, you're probably buying Clorox wipes.
Do you know what? Like there was a report, because I tend to read marketing reports and stuff,
Mhm.
and there was a report where some brands, they do marketing not just to get the the immediate customer, but they do the marketing to get the customer while they're young, because they know that once
Mhm.
they grow up, they will be loyal to that brand. Yeah.
I have a perfect relation to this because I thought this was the craziest thing to find out ever. Well, one, obviously Disney is like one of the craziest marketing conglomerates of all time. Like they're like experts. They've been doing it forever. But
Yeah.
I found out for Finding when they were putting out the first Finding Nemo movie, right? They had specifically seeded like fish facts on commercials like like a year before like the movie came out so that kids would get interested in fish,
Yeah.
and so they would want to watch the movie more. And I was like, oh my god, like that's so genius. Like that's evil, but it's so
Yeah.
genius because it's like, yeah, like there's nothing really wrong with getting kids interested in fish, but it's like there's nothing really inherently awful about that. But it's like, so it's such trickery of like,
Yeah.
that's genius because that's like, okay, now kids are super interested in fish. Now they're gonna go watch this movie when it comes out, or like when they see previews for it because they're excited about fish, and then they're probably gonna go see the second one because they're still, from a young age now they're really interested in fish. Because they know all these fish facts, and now it's a personality trait. Now it's forever, and now they can continue to capitalize on fish-related movies. And that is so smart and so diabolical.
Yeah. 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 I fully agree, because it is like it's like they don't even want the money. They don't want the money even immediately.
Yeah, and that's smarter. That's smarter than not wanting, because like when you want the money immediately or you want like immediate results, like you're usually
Yeah.
looking at it the wrong way. Like unless it's like a seasonal thing, like like
Yeah.
that makes sense. But like it's like if you really want to get people's attention and like slowly like people really need to trust a lot of times
Yeah.
because we're so distrustful because we're constantly being
Yeah.
marketed to. So like a slower approach is usually the way to go to like build
Yes.
loyalty too.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, and because people, I'm sure you've heard people say, "Oh yeah, it's a fight for attention. We're fighting for attention." When really, what brands are really fighting for, or the smart brands that see themselves really growing super quick in the future, is they're fighting for the memory of people.
That's hard. Yeah.
And that is hard. That is harder, because if you think about it, if I was to say, "Hey Shannon, let's go and get some fast food. Do you have any suggestions?" You've already probably got a suggestion in your head right now,
Mhm.
right? But you're not
McDonald's.
thinking. Yeah.
It's always the first one that comes in my head because it's like the pinnacle of fast food. Like that's like just like it's the invention of fast food.
Exactly. But you're not. But you didn't think of like a new burger joint that's up the road.
Mhm.
They in order to achieve that, they've got to run the ads to get you to remember.
Mhm.
So it's really that, and it's like, okay, attention is great, but it's very short term. But it's really about fighting for the customer's memory. That's
Yeah.
it.
No, and even like
Yeah.
well, speaking of that, because you're well versed in TikTok, like can you talk a little more about that? Because everyone kind of says that TikTok is responsible for the shortening of attention spans. I don't know if that's completely true. I think that started earlier than TikTok. However, how, like, because of people consuming so much content in such a short amount of time, like how do you recommend that people like advertise on there or like market on there in the best way that actually like resonates with people? Do you think it's what's the word I'm looking for, like quantity? Like do you think that they should show it more, or like what's the strategy for that you'd recommend?
Oh, okay. The strategy I would say for that. So, say if you're trying to grow on TikTok, so I'll talk about the organic and the paid.
Mhm.
So, if you're trying to grow organically on TikTok, it's really a numbers game. So it's really, I think, especially in the beginning, that's when you want to be the most creative and really just any idea. It doesn't matter how crazy it is. Doesn't matter. You just put it out there. And one thing that I always say to brands is, especially starting to go on TikTok, is just put together 100 ideas. Doesn't matter. Don't even think about, because a lot of people overthink things. They look at other content and they think, oh yeah, let me be
Yeah.
like this. No,
Mm-mm.
it's about the cut through. It's about
Mhm.
pattern interrupt. That's all it is. That's why TikTok is great, because it's about it's so good at pattern interrupting. So so I always say you want to do at least 100 pieces of content. Doesn't matter what type of idea. And then what you're going to find over time, you're going to find which type of content actually gets more views, gets more engagement, and that is your formula. And then you basically, now moving forward, you do the next piece of 100 pieces of content, but around that winning formula.
Mm.
And then you're gonna find out, oh, out of the winning ones, we changed this a little bit. Okay, this is working. All right, and then you just do it more and more until you find your voice, and you find a strategy that actually works consistently. That's why you find
Mm.
a lot of people on TikTok. They create content, but there's a strategy, even down to the way the video is edited. So the quick cuts, like even down to that. And it's never really random. The reason why is because platforms like TikTok, you can create community, but the community isn't on the same level as YouTube. On TikTok, people can easily forget you. So the best way that people can remember you is by knowing that, oh, this creator makes their videos like this,
This.
so I know it's this
Yep.
creator. So that's the organic side. The paid side is all about getting them in the first 3 seconds. So now this is where you can have the same body, the same video, but you just change the first 3 seconds just to
Huh.
see which ones gets the clicks and gets the sales. So it's a lot more easier with paid, I would say, because you can it's all in the numbers. You can see that, oh, okay, the click-through rate is high here, the click-through rate is low here. Oh, they're watching 3 seconds, these guys are not watching. So it's a lot easier to really see step by step what is happening. Whereas with organic, it's really a more of a general strategy. But that's what I would say with that. And I've done that with my platform, and but it is quantity, but quantity with a strategy.
Yeah, no, I think those are really great tips, because I think that a lot of people might, for the 3 second tip, I think a lot of people might overthink. I mean, I guess actually for both of those strategies, people might overthink things a little too much, and then maybe put too much effort in where they're like wasting time, or they could like donate to other things, or
Yeah.
they're just like not like the 3 second thing. Like a lot of people would take time to create like very curated, very different videos, and that might not be the best thing for them. And like that really opens up time for people to be able to, try new things while also, like monitoring that. Whereas like instead of creating an entirely new video to try something new.
Yeah, exactly. I just because a lot of people when it comes to online, they think that they have to do something completely out of this world to get people's attention. A lot of the times it is just connecting, understanding, okay, what is it that you want to put out into the world? How can people connect with you? And just doing that over and over again. And then over time, you're going to find what works. And it's just really sticking to that. But then obviously algorithm changes happen all the time. So there will be a point where that strategy stops working.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where some creators or brands think, oh, was working for a while, it stopped working. What's going on? Is the app broken? What's going on? That is just the behavior on the platform changing, because the more
Yeah.
people that come onto a platform and discover and sign onto the platform, the more the culture on that platform changes, the more the requirements for that the audience needs on that platform changes. For example, when Facebook came on, everyone was you could poke people, People were sharing images all the time, and update their Facebook status.
Mhm.
Now it's not so. Now it's people still do it, but it's not. That's not the main focus of it,
Mhm.
because over time the cohort of audiences that have joined the platform have changed and want different requirements. So, and that informs how your content strategy would be as well.
I think that's an amazing seed of advice, and I really appreciate you being able to share more in depth about this, because I think that there's a lot of misconceptions that people have around a lot of like specifically content platforms and how things work, because it's kind of that, like, balancing act of like sometimes things work really well, but it's a complete accident and there's not actually data to like um actually support that it's a good idea that you should do forever. And sometimes there's coincidentally data that supports that you should keep doing it even if it is an accident. And that's it's a bit difficult sometimes to strategize when something is a fluke. And I think that that's a bit difficult, but this was, I'm so sorry because I'm having such a fun time and this went by so quickly, but I do have to stop here. This was such a fun time. Like, thank you so much for joining me. Like, you had a lot of great insights into some things that I've never even got to talk about too much about. So this was absolutely incredible, and I really appreciate everything you've said today.
No problem. No problem at all, Shannon. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure being on this with you, sharing with you my passion for marketing and advertising, and just letting people know that it's not as difficult as it seems. It's really just understanding humans, having empathy, because that's what it comes down to. To really understand if someone's gonna react well to your post or to your product,
Mm-hmm.
it's really just having that empathy and not thinking, I just want more views, I want more followers.
Yeah.
It's how can I add some delight into their life where the followers and the likes and the money is going to come anyway.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
So yeah.
That's a really wholesome note to end on too, because I think that, I think people think that some things are extremely difficult. And of course, like, there's a lot of training involved in like learning for certain aspects of things. But I think that a lot of people don't explore certain areas or trying things because they're scared that they're not going to be able to do it. And so I love when people put things simply, because I think that that is important. We're not hiding behind jargon. We're trying to share knowledge, and that's what this podcast is all about. But thank you, Joshua, so much. This was an absolute pleasure. I had a great time with you on the show, and thank you everyone for listening. We'd be nothing without you. Please check out other episodes. Check out Josh in the description, and I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you, guys.